I'm the first one to do that. I bet you never knew that. Back like a tailbone. Who you got the tail on? If it ain't about me, about whole D, about face. If you ain't on higher, learn it. The soda in the pot and the fire, burn it. This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my guest. This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my.
Oh man, normally when I start videos like this, it's only because I just got done my recent review, and it was a lot to kick in. It was a lot to take away. So I've to switch topics, to switch lanes. It's like switching mental sex positions. It's like, okay, like I'm already done. Can we take a breath? Can we take a break? But by me loving you fans so much, and by me loving you all, y'all gave me all these subscribers. I can do any position y'all want. Just we're getting too weird. We're gonna talk about The Howling. The Howling is an American werewolf movie released in 1981. That is, oh Jesus Christ! I was never thought of. I was born in 1990. Anyway, it's directed by Joe Dante. In Los Angeles, television journalist Karen White is traumatized in the course of aiding the police in their arrest of a serial killer. Pretty soon, her doctor recommended that she attended an isolated pediatric retreat. But while Karen's undergoing therapy, her colleague Chris investigates the bizarre circumstances surrounding her shock while staying among werewolf territory. This movie caught me off guard. I love this movie, and the reason why I'm saying caught me off guard is because I'm a huge fan of werewolves. I love werewolf movies. I love werewolf movies way more than vampires. I feel like vampires focus more on the drama, the love interest, and the dialogue. I love werewolf movies because they do less than that and more with the gore and the like. Werewolves are more vicious than vampires. Let's just get that out of the way. You be stuck in a room with a vampire, you got a good chance to reason with them. But with a werewolf, it's like being stuck in a room with the Hulk. And trust me, they don't think. They only act. And by the time they're done acting, and when they start thinking, you're on the floor, fucked up. But the reason why this movie caught me off guard, because I did not know that nothing about this movie existence. And to make matters worse, this movie had a sequel, a couple of them. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? Now, a big thanks for this recommendation will be my father. My dad, he is also a YouTuber like me, but unlike me, he does fragrance suggestions. I'll put the link on the description box if you guys want to see how my father looks. Just saying. But man, he should do reviews too, because now I'm beginning to see where I got my taste in movies from is because of him. And The Howling, man, this is not just a good movie. This is not just a movie that really made me like werewolf movies a lot more, especially when it comes to the old genre of werewolf movies. But at the same time, if you guys like my suggestions and y'all like werewolf movies and y'all haven't seen this one, hey, this review may win y'all over. The movie picks up at a very fair pace. Now, some people and even critics even dogged on the pacing of this film, but I don't see why. But to be fair, it's probably because of the relation of the character, and that is Karen. Karen, that is played by Dee Wallace. First of all, I have to say right now, everybody that has been dogging your character about like the pacing and you acting like you overreacting and you literally just going off screen and going off script, listen, by me understanding the whole entire set piece of your character, I understand completely, because I feel like a lot of werewolf films never done the pacing of a main character like this, and that is literally being used as bait to catch a serial killer. That's literally how the movie starts. It's her trying to apprehend a serial killer by her being used as bait, and everything ends up working, but at the same time, in the process, she never seen anyone get killed in front of her before. She has not witnessed someone getting shot and getting killed right in front of her before. So by this happening, she gets traumatized mentally and physically in certain ways when it comes to her being not trusted in certain areas and just feeling discomforted in her own perseverance. I'm sorry. I'm just giving her too much praise right now, but her praise and her acting should be more appreciated, because I feel like that is what happens. Trust me, for a person like me that knows how it feels to almost get murdered. But I have not seen the one get killed. But I do know how that traumatizing gesture happens and how it feels, to the point where you feel like you're not safe. You barely sleep. And then when you do sleep, you relive that moment in your mental state of you dreaming. And by me understanding this and by me witnessing this myself, I feel like she done a damn good job with her character, especially when it comes to her mixing her choreography and her common sense status of us still going into the draw aspect of her character onto the film. And then there are some times where she just get pushed with the whole reality check of like, hey, look, this happened to you. Remember when this happened to you? Remember when you went through this whole phase? There was some times where it even scared me, and then it had to calm me down to the point where I was like, okay, I watched this with my father. I can't really feel her character this much, and it made me like this film a lot, because imagine if I was watching this by myself, witnessing her character's experience. And this is actually bold, because by this happening in the beginning of the film, it makes me wonder how the rest of the film is going to be when it comes to the elemental cycle of horror, scares, tension, and above all, just the pacing of where the werewolf activity happens. They do that well here. They do that well. They don't shoot their load too early. In fact, this was like literally a pre-cum shot of just how the film is going to be when it comes to the real ejaculation of the I need to stop with the sexual jokes, don't I? Need to stop with the sexual jokes. Moving on. But as I was saying, as we get enough pacing with Karen's character, this is when we get introduced to her going to this patriotic retreat, when she meets new characters that is going to be helpful or sort of in a whole mysterious way of a suspicion ratio of us pinpointing their behaviors when the whole entire project continues. Like Elizabeth Brooks and Don McLeod, Elizabeth's character was very off, and not in a way where it drew me away from the film, but it made me feel as if, okay, this character is not right. But Don's character, he took away the whole entire film for me when it came to common sense wise. I feel like if you're going to make a film with a person that is a little bit suspicious, how about you have some types of creativity of them blending in? And he just kept looking at Karen, kept staring at her in certain ways and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, it's no doubt that this character is going to be driving the plot to the whole entire film, falling onto the whole hinges of werewolf activity, especially with Elizabeth's character. But with her, I understood, because by her acting a certain way and by her portraying herself in the vision aspect of how things are going to be falling in place, she's the main honcho of this whole entire wolf pack itself. So by her doing this and acting a certain way, I need her to act this way so I can know how imposing her character is. But as for Don's character, I did not like him. I'm just going to be honest. I did not like his character at all. And what he wore, he looked like he looked like Craven the Wolf Hunter that was ordered from Temu. And I'll stop the sexual jokes at least. If we're going to talk about characters I didn't like, let's talk about Christopher Stone that plays Bill. Now, he is Karen's love interest. I didn't like him either because he didn't really do much. He didn't really portray himself as a character that did a lot for Karen. He comforted her, but that was it. But he didn't really feel a character that I was like, okay, thank God he's here to try to see what's going on. He disappeared mostly into the whole entire film, and he only left signs of himself letting us know that, okay, he's going to drive plot of how the whole outbreak of the whole werewolf activity is going to take place. And he was even unloyal at times when it comes to his faith of him being in a relationship with Karen. So I did not just like him, but I ended up hating him as a character. Not to nag and bash on the whole film franchise. For me to rate a film, I have to rate on how the pacing of the film is and how everything gets falling in place when it comes to the choreography set piece of how the whole film is going to portray itself and what makes me want to watch it in the first place. If you're going to have flawed characters like Don, and if you're going to have unfaithful and unloyal characters like Bill being on this film, as long as the film is still good, I can live with that. You can have bad characters be side characters, but do not let them be main unless we have a good reason of why they main and why they're flawed to begin with. They did good with the pacing with Karen and a couple other characters that I will mention in the future, and that was enough for me to love it from start to finish. And another reason why I did not like Bill's character is because of just so many cliche elements of lack of creativity of his whole character to be profounded in a way of him being drawn into the whole werewolf aspect itself. Him keeps saying, well, I don't like meat, I don't eat meat, but then all of a sudden he starts eating meat like crazy, and I was like, okay, he's infected. That was very cliche. Some people will say that this movie is old, give it a break, but I have watched a lot of films that was older than this. Rosemary's Baby, for Christ's sakes, and they didn't have no cliche moments. Creativity don't go later into the generation, because creativity is dying. Creativity is back then. We have a lot of actors, actresses, movie stars, rappers, singers, producers, and even a lot of people that is mainstream today that is ripping off creators from back then. So don't even go there and say that to me. Please don't. And speaking of lack of creativity, let's have a little downtime and talk about Snow White. I've seen Snow White. That movie was not good. Now look, I'm not gonna review it because it's not worth it. But a lot of people, including myself, just didn't like it because of just Rachel Zegler's attitude. Because let's just face it, she's become a cocky little bitch. She's literally the Queen Joffrey of actresses. Moving on to the review, to something better than that, than Snow White. Way better. Comparing that is like comparing a McRib to a prime rib. As we get deep into the character development, they show more about this patriotic retreat. And this is where I was beginning to like this film a lot, is because we was beginning to get more into the tension aspect of the choreography set piece of this whole project, of them discovering clues, discovering certain areas in this whole forest retreat as this project, as this project takes place. Now, when it comes to werewolf films, you're going to start fast, or you're going to have the pacing be slow to the point where you begin to understand the whole werewolf activity. They've done both of that here. And there was even some points where characters would investigate certain areas, and I would notice certain things that was not right. And, when it comes to some of these people that lives as werewolves, begin to interact with human activity. And when we are introduced of where they were living, I'm like, ugh, this is nasty. Like, why would they live like this? And I'm like, this is not cool at all. And that's when I was beginning to feel grossed out, and at the same time be on edge, because I know that some fucked up shit was gonna fucking happen. And what really caught me off guard is that the fact that werewolves on this movie attack during the day. And they didn't really explain much about this. They do show certain elements of how werewolves do interact with certain people and interacting with daylights, but hey, it scared me. Especially when this lady was getting attacked in this house, and this werewolf was really trying to fuck her ass up, man. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. It had me and my father on the edge of my seat, man. Especially when she was trying to defend herself and try to survive, man. I was like, oh my God, man. It made me like, it's stuff like this that really make me really appreciate good horror films from back then. And the movie doesn't stop there at all. Like, this movie actually has like a certain set piece of a twist of us revealing who the werewolves are, how they end up being like involved in the whole activity to begin with. Now the twist was a little bit cliche because of how people was acting, but there was some people that was werewolves that I was like, oh wow, I had no idea. So it still kept me on the balance of me still watching and still looking at this film in a whole enjoyable aspect of me not looking away of the creativity that is thrown upon us. Even the transformations. For a movie that's made in 1981, I'm gonna have to say the werewolf transformation was freaking awesome. They showed this part where Karen was literally trying to like find certain things out, and this is when she was like finding dead bodies and everything like that, and she was trying to get past her trauma, and she comes across a person that transforms right in front of her, and it like the way he transformed really gave me chills, and I'm like, holy shit, like this is. And for some people, I can see why, because some people did say that it dragged, but I liked it because it was showing like how humans would transform and just try to hold on to their sanity and just let everything go by just fully transforming and fully emerging, fully emerging into the werewolf. Because this dude, when he was like transforming, he was still talking, but at the same time, his teeth was beginning to get in the way of the fangs and stuff like that. He was still trying to like have his normal vision, but he was beginning to like lose that when it comes to like the, like the werewolf vision was beginning to take place. So he would look cockeyed and just look all crazy and shit. And he would smile, a couple of times and shit. And then he would like, I was like, what the hell? If I was watching this as a kid, that scene would fuck me up. I would not sleep at night. I would not sleep at night. Like that would, I would have nightmares. Like if y'all watch that scene, like let me know what y'all think. Wrapping this whole film up, I think this film ended pretty good. Now, I did mention that this film had sequels, but the way how the movie ended, the way how like everything just fell on play of just the enjoyment of the whole project just being wrapped up in the way it did, I think it stopped the clock for me. Now, I've heard some critics that seen the sequels of this film, and some of them liked it, some of them didn't like it. And I want to stay away from that because I feel like by a movie like this that has sequels, I know the creativity may not be there anymore. And the way how this movie ended, I just want to end it the way it did. A lot of movies, horror movies from back then, has suffered this. Jason, Freddy, Howling, The Exorcist, all of them have bad sequels that we wish that we did not come across with. Now, for viewers that's watching this review, if y'all have seen all the Howling sequels, let me know in the comments if I should definitely check them out. Or should I just stay in my lane and just let this be a one and done for me? Let me know in the comments. Overall, this movie was a great treat to watch, especially a movie that was made in the 80s. I love watching movies in the 80s and they be so good like this. Like, this was a movie that really caught me off guard, and I keep saying that, and I love to keep saying it because when people keep telling me about films, and I already be on guard of what to expect, but by my father telling me about this film, I did not know what to expect because I'm still like trying to understand this choreography set of enjoying movies. He don't really mess with horror like this. So by him telling me to check out The Howling, I'm like, okay, you don't really like scary movies. You don't really like demonic possession films. Let me check this one out. I love it. I love it a lot, and I highly recommend you all to check it out as well. I'm gonna have to give The Howling an A. Well, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for upcoming reviews and videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher.